Has there been any progress with getting your blood test results from the GP?
I had some results back, but was waiting for more results to come back. And eventually she put some notes on there saying, refer for cancer scan. I mean, we'd already mentioned the C word, but it's again, it's my first glimpse of it for being referred to a CT scan for specifically cancer was when I saw it on the notes. So
How did you feel when you saw this information on the electronic system?
I felt disappointed that there wasn't a structure in place to talk to me about it. It was like queuing up at the deli for the next customer, please. But that doesn't bother me. But it does bother lots and lots of people.
How do you think this process could be improved?
But I think if you're testing for something, you should say to a patient, yeah, this is unlikely, but one of the markers is that it could be. So what we're doing is we're going to test for you in an effort to rule it out or whatever. But but at least talk to you. Nobody wants to deliver bad news, but that's what they're paid for. And to deliver it in a sensitive way. But if you've done the first bit right and you've built some sort of rapport, even if it is a couple of minutes, you're making the journey easier for both the clinician and the patient.
Have you had any other interactions with health services?
Tried again to chase my eye screening, and I haven't had a reply back from that because the Leeds Programme staff have all been diverted elsewhere, which I quite understand. But there's a number of things that leaves us open to. Is obviously the epidemic of diabetes that has taken place. Who's picking those people up? They're just going to be shoveled into the system later on down the line when they reach critical conditions with blood sugars and obesity, etc., etc. Somebody should have been touching base with the diabetes sufferers at some point, even if it was to say, we're sorry we can't be with you at this moment to the same level as we are. But if you have any interim issues, this is how you should access our service. None of that's happened. I don't even get replies from emails anymore. I don't know who to progress about that. The GPs have traditionally, and when I've spoken to them about it pre-COVID about the eye screening, as I said, well, it's not really their bag. It's run separately, so there's no point in trying to chase it with the GP. So I guess I've just got to wait.
How have you been managing your health conditions?
It's being self-managed because of what I learned through being on the Leeds Programme. Now, if I hadn't been on that, I wouldn't have understood. I wouldn't have been able to look out for the signs and make adjustments accordingly. When I was last in hospital, it was because of diabetes. It was because my blood sugars went off the scale, basically. That was probably down to my negligence of not being uber religious about checking blood sugar levels. But to turn it round and to get back on track took using the knowledge that I'd gained on the Leeds Programme.
How does the Leeds Programme work?
The Leeds Programme is something you have the option of being referred to when you're first diagnosed as diabetic. It's a series of 6 classroom-led sessions, which about 2 hours each, and it talks you through the risks of certain activities. It talks you through diet, talks you through exercise, and the need for all these things. And there's one thing that's drummed into you is that the only person who really knows your diabetes is yourself, because there's no two diabetics are the same. So it trains you to look after yourself, because the more you know about your health, the better decisions you make about it. And after you've done that period, you have a link to them. You can enter them again and say, I need some help with it. Well, the important thing about the Leeds Programme is you don't go on it and become cast adrift. You do feel like you belong. You do feel like if it's not even um, a clinician that you're talking to, you can reach out and talk to maybe a patient champion and say, this is what I'm suffering from. This is what, did you get the same? How did you deal with it? And it genuinely works.
If you could change one thing to make your experience better, what would it be?
I would like to just be spoken to. I just want them to say, Mark, this is the situation. This is what we're doing. This is what we need to do at this stage. After this has happened, we'll look at it again. I just want to know what's happening and when. I can take bad news, but I need to have it for me to make my decisions.